Okay, yeah, sure. But we're not back on the air, right?
We are.
Okay, great.
Welcome back to CDBG Advisory Committee meeting. We are currently conducting interviews with applicants in social work programs. Do we have the next applicant here?
Yes, currently on the schedule next we have the Glendale YMCA. However, All for Health, who is number 10, is here if you would like to take them at this time.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be All for Health, Health for All, Inc., Youth Health Services Project.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I do apologize for not attending at the same time that we were scheduled. Basically, I want to represent myself. My name is Lilith Harapetian, and I'm here to represent All for Health, Health for All. And basically, All for Health is a nonprofit community clinic here in Glendale. And our goal is to service underserved patients in the area who are medically needed and don't have insurance or are low-income families. Basically, currently we have 4 facilities operating, and we just opened up our 4th facility in Burbank, California. Our 3rd facility, which is located in 437 South Pacific Avenue, we are transferring our general relief patients to the Burbank facility in order to turn that facility to, we will be able to see youth patients there, for example, prenatal, postnatal, and pediatric patients. And I just wanted to let you guys know that the welfare office is pretty much close to the facility, which will be very convenient for our patients or not yet patients to go to the welfare, apply for Medi-Cal, and to know that there's going to be a clinic around the corner, and they can come to our clinic, apply for different programs, be able to see while they're pregnant, after they give birth, and bring out their children for pediatric services. And as far as the funds that you guys will be providing, it will really help our facility to provide services for patients that are medically underserved, as well as their children. And patients who are pregnant and receiving prenatal care, it will make them feel that there's a clinic out in the area that will be able to serve them for all their medically needed services. And that's about it.
Thank you. I am familiar with your clinic here in Glendale, and you said you're opening another one in Burbank? And
yes, we're opening up a 4th facility in Burbank, and currently our 437 Edison Pacific is seeing general relief patients. So what we're doing, we're planning to move those patients to the Burbank location, so we would be able to see youth patients in the area, since we have the elementary school right next door, as well as the welfare office. So it's more convenient for new upcoming patients to have a clinic in their community.
Okay, so you would be closing the one that is affiliated with the Edison area?
We're not actually closing it down, but we're just transferring
services.
Yes.
Okay, and this would be in Burbank, serving the community in Burbank?
Community as well as Glendale.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, just to clarify that the CDBG funds are, kind of being directed to this community for just Glendale community members. But again, as you're saying, you may be pulling some from Glendale to Burbank as well.
Well, we're moving the general relief patients to Burbank so we can use the facility to see youth patients, because our main goal is to have patients who are actually the patients who are pregnant during their pregnancy and pediatric services.
Great, thank you. I can start with Mr. Cornell. Would you like to start?
Yes.
Your questions?
You got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. I see that you're new as far as this one of the few times since I've been on since 2008 that you've applied for CDBG. So this is your first time?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. What happened that you didn't make the, I see a sign-in sheet here that you did not make the mandatory pre-bid conference. What happened there?
There was a mandatory orientation conference that all the applicants were invited, and I'm not sure if you were one of those applicants that missed the meeting.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
I have a response to that, and
Great.
I think we just,
Okay.
we just received that, and I will let Mr. Carrillo answer that, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. There was a response to the weakness that All for Health, Health for All, did not attend the technical assistance meeting, and they did submit a response, but it was late. It was after the packets were delivered. And essentially what they were saying in here in this letter, which she brought in today, was that they didn't get the notification in time for the meeting. Since they are a new group, they are not necessarily receiving all the updates from our current list, but they, let's see, they did not attend. Yeah, I guess because of the mail, basically that's what this states here.
But the application seems complete. I don't see that many weaknesses in the
There was
application.
one other weakness, which was a signature was
Signature.
missing. They came in and signed the documents. So everything as far as the weaknesses are clear. Just the technical assistance meeting was not attended.
Can I get a little detail on this meeting, the mandatory technical assistance meeting? Is it held on one day for everyone? Does everyone get to show up at the same time? If they are to communicate with you and indicate to you that they have a difficulty meeting that schedule, would you accommodate them? How does it work?
Mr. Sananian and members of the committee, yes, it is required. It's not necessarily disqualify someone from not attending. Some agencies, and there was, I think, one particular agency which did not attend, and they did call me. They were on their way, and they had an accident. And I believe, I can't remember which agency it was, but generally they should call to let us know they can't make it, but they're coming. They came in to the second technical assistant meeting, and we did excuse them because they were on their way. They did notify some. We didn't know they were going to come or not, or didn't come at all.
Did this nonprofit make the volunteer one, though?
No, Mr. Cornell, they didn't.
Thank you. Mr. Oganessian?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, mic was off. You're asking only for $20,000, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking at payroll for your guys, the company overall. It's over $2.5 million of payroll.
Yes.
$2.5 million of payroll, and I don't think you guys need $20,000 worth of CDBG money too.
I mean, like I've already presented, we're starting off a new facility to help out the youth, and I understand your council is offering this fund especially for the youth.
Sorry, maybe I need to rephrase the question. As a company that's can put out over $2.5 million worth of payroll does not need in my opinion, does not need $20,000 to start a new facility. Especially where we're sitting right now, we're facing another 35% budget cut from our previous years. There's other organizations out there that actually need this money, in my opinion, the way I'm looking at these papers, much more than you guys need the money.
I mean, in my opinion, whether you have...
It justifies it. Some people, some of the other organizations making, $20,000, $30,000 for directors, this and that, asking for $50,000 for operational costs. I can understand that. But when you have your facility paying out almost $3 million in payroll, why would you need $20,000 of grant money?
I mean, in my opinion, every funding is helpful to the facility. We're a nonprofit organization,
but I'm sure
and we have 4 facilities operating, and our main goal is to serve the underserved patients out in the community. And there's, percent-wise, there's many of them who don't have any medical.
Just a follow-up on that question. I see that this requested fund is going directly to that specific service. Now, your facility is federally funded. So would that service not fall under this federally funded program?
I know that the specific facility is not federally qualified yet. So, because if it was federally qualified, I understand they would have offered us more funding. But since we're not federally qualified yet, that's why we asked for the city council.
Right. Okay, Mr. Sinania?
Yeah, thank you. The total budget for the project is $63,493, and you're asking from CDBG funds only $20,000. Where's the rest of the money coming from? So a balance of about $43,500.
That I'm not sure.
Is that information in the application packet?
The additional funding that he was asking.
The balance of the budget for this.
Mr. Sinanian, yes, the proposal is only requesting 31%. There's just 69% basically match. And the question is, where is that other 69% coming from? Approximately $60,000 or $42,000. Is there a source that you have?
I mean, I myself, I'm not aware of the sources.
I would imagine it would be coming from the federal program because it's only 5%. The 20,000 is actually 5% of physician and 5% of assistant physician.
But I don't want us to be imagining things. I mean, if they come and ask for money, I'm sorry, but you have to be prepared to answer these questions. We have to know. We ask these questions standard just about to anyone because there's an issue of how you leverage your funding, whether simple. I'm not saying this may happen to you, but we provided $20,000, and I've seen no evidence showing that you're actually going to get the balance of the money. What if you don't, and all of a sudden your program is a failure, basically? Then the money's coming back, it's not coming back. We don't want to be in that seat. That's why when you come asking for those funds, I think this committee always expects an explanation of where the funding's coming from. So I don't know. I'm sort of
I
worried.
understand, but I was not very much aware of preparing this whole funding. Adrina Abramian, who prepared the proposal, she was the one who was supposed to be here presenting it. She was actually at a annual symposium at the CCLASC. So I was just told to come and represent with as much information.
It's not you individually as a person is not an issue.
I understand.
Don't misunderstand. But the organization, the bottom line is the organization is responsible for the information we provided or being present here and presenting
Yes.
your organization properly. And this, I don't know. This is the first time I've seen this happen.
Mr. Cornell, do you have any comments?
No, that pretty much answered it. Just to follow up on your service here, I noticed that there's a duplication provided by their other organizations. Like I have one with GHK here. On March 24, they're having a program for Kids Health and Fitness Expo, provided by various sponsors, Kiwanis, Rotary, the hospital that the chair belongs to. They have this once, maybe twice a year. And I feel, this member does, that your service is a duplication of what is already provided in our community.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Oganesian? Very
you.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much. We
very
will
much.
review again at the end of the interviews. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Okay, next we have Glendale YMCA, Glendale Police Activities League, Cal.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Cardone. I'm a senior director at the YMCA of Glendale. We are requesting funding for, or continuing a program that was originally a Glendale Police program. It's the Police Activities League program, or PAL, which is designed for helping at-risk youth. The program has activities including boxing and dancing, where the kids come to the program at the Y and are participate in our activities.
Thank you. Right. Mr. Sinanian, do you have...
I'll pass for now.
Okay.
I'm sorry, quick question. Was this the same program we were speaking about previously when we had putting the ring in the YMCA, the boxing ring in the YMCA?
Yes, I
The
think that
same
was a program that was transferred to YMCA.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the
Good
committee.
afternoon.
I'm Sergeant John Gilkerson from the Community Policing Unit. And yes, sir, that is correct.
Wonderful. I believe Officer Fox was handling that program previously.
Lieutenant Fox?
Lieutenant Fox.
He actually had oversight of it,
Oversight.
as it were, at the time. Yes, sir.
It's a wonderful program. How is it doing? Did we already move the facilities? Did we get the boxing ring into the YMCA?
The program dissolved at the police department with about 25 regular participants on the books. Now that we've gone over to the YMCA and started this partnership and learned to cooperate with each other, and not that we were not cooperating, but get this cooperation going, we're up to about 13 on the books.
Okay.
We've been on the phone from the police department with previous participants and gotten a commitment to go check it out from about 5 to 8 of the previous participants. And I was there last night, in fact, visiting the program, and they had 5 young men ask me, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Our PAL boxing program." And by the time they left, they had applications, so hopefully 5 more. So it was knocked down, and it's coming back up slowly but surely. The equipment is there. We've done a lot of walking around and scoping things out, and so we do have places planned for the boxing ring. All the equipment is at the Y, and now it just needs to be set up.
Now, last year we requested 13,788. We received 13,788, and we're increasing the request for to up to 19,000. Is there a specific reason why we're going up on the requests?
I believe actually 12 and wasn't it 13,788?
Should be 13,788.
Oh, do you want to speak to that?
I apologize. Our Chief Executive Officer, George Cycli, is the one that has originally been
Yes.
coordinating this. Unfortunately, he's in Texas. I don't have the answer to that question, so I apologize, but I can get back to you.
Okay, I'm sure we can read through it and find the answers.
Mr. Carrillo, something.
Mr. Oganasi, members of the committee, last year they requested $19,000.
Okay, and they were approved
this
for
year,
13.
and they were granted $13,788. So this year they're asking for the exact amount of money that was granted, $13,078.
I personally believe in the program. I think it's a wonderful program. I'm really glad and happy that there's officers that take an extra time out of their hectic lives to actually get this program going. I'm very well supported this program. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Mr. Sinanian?
Hi.
Hello.
And there's a response to the first weakness, which is the program being over-leveraged. It's being 100% funded by CDBG funds. And the response is that it's not. And because it doesn't cover the cost of the CFO. But it's the second part of the last sentence in the response that I just want an explanation on. It says the program, you're running the program with about 33% of the funding that PAL program ran in the prior years. Now, we're not talking about the 2011, 2012, right? We're talking about maybe
Way before.
before that?
We became involved in this program. They approached us back in July of 2011, so I assume that this is in reference before. By the time we started the program, it was September or October or November during that period of time.
Right. I mean, we believe in the program, and I think when this was brought up to us, George was the one presenting last time, And the idea was to transfer the program, because it was a valuable program, to YMCA, so the program would continue. Now I see the numbers that none of the funds have been used, and this is a summer program, and the summer is over. Would this be something that can be used for next year, next summer? I'm just trying to figure out how we can reallocate maybe, or what are the plans for the amount that it's sitting there and not being used and won't be used till July of this year, actually.
Yes, ma'am. I oversee the police aspect of it, the mentoring and so forth. Thankfully, the YMCA does a lot of this paperwork now, and I think one of the reasons that we've lacked the use of funds is because we have started this partnership and tried to get it off the ground. It is a year-round program, so...
because I thought it said it's a summer, it's after school, summer recreation, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And summer, okay.
Yes, ma'am. So they do operate Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had a 5-day-a-week operation when the police had it solely behind at the old police station here. But they are a 2-day-a-week so far, Tuesday and Thursday operation, but they are after school. So it's currently...
So you are anticipating this program to get off the ground and start, and there would be some expenses involved that would be submitted this year, within the next 6 months?
Our student is in charge of he's administrating the program at the Y.
How are you? I'm Arsene Ramazan. Okay, we've turned in stuff to the city. We are working with ArmyNet. There were some corrections that we needed to make on our invoice, and that's the reason none of the money's been released yet. She does have the new invoice, and we're hoping on that pretty soon.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, I want to finish up my questions. Just for information purposes, so how much is the cost of the CFO?
The CFO, she's taken herself out of the budget. Most of it is falling on us, on myself, actually. So I'm the one who's doing the paperwork. I'll be turning in the ledgers. I'm the one working with ArmyNet to turn in the invoices and get our money.
Okay, and last year you didn't receive all the funds that you requested. I assume that, first of all, the funds that you were requesting last year, was that supposed to cover 100% of your expenses, or was that were you requesting just a portion of the budget?
As far as for the invoice, we're just requesting what we've spent so far. Everything's been out of pocket for the time being. So when you're saying last year, you just mean the last couple months?
I mean every year the proposals come and the money's being asked for. The money usually, very seldom, it represents 100% of the projected budget. So my question is, the $19,000 that you asked for last year, was that 100% of the projected budget? And then I have follow-up. I think Mr. Correa wants to...
Yes. Just to answer that question, the YMCA in 2011-12, YMCA actually did not apply for the funding. It was the police department who requested the funding. The $19,000 was, I think that was requested, and $13,000 was approved by the committee. Part of the $19,000 was for an additional program they used to run, which is an equestrian program.
Yes.
Remember, the equestrian program was part of the program, and what had happened is there was funding cut from last year's CDBG, so a reduced amount of CDBG. In addition, there was the city budget situation caused funding for officer overtime to limit really just to a boxing program and not the equestrian program. So equestrian was taken out. So that's out, and that was a large portion of that, about $10,000 that was allocated for the equestrian program.
And that's how you were able to survive on 13.7? Is that what happened?
Yes,
because my next question is going to be, if you don't get the full 13.7, what's going to happen? What are we looking at? Are we going to be able to come up with? Is the city going to comp you? I mean, are you going to be compensated somehow?
Well, sir, our involvement is not on any overtime basis. It's on an on-duty basis. The mentoring and so forth. Most of the administration has gone to the YMCA now. So I really can't speak to where we'll be. I know that there is a commitment from the YMCA to make this program go as much as possible. So I wish I could speak for them. As far as for the city, I can't speak to that either, apparently, or unfortunately at the moment. But our involvement, police involvement, is on city time. It's not an overtime function. I have an officer right now who is on light duty. He's working for me, and he is able to go over there on Tuesdays and or Thursdays and mentor the kids and check their report cards and get to know them and see their applications. We hope to, or actually we plan to, make this a function of field officers as we continue to branch out into a greater community policing concept, have beat officers over there in uniform on their own duty time, getting to know the participants and so forth. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I just said we do plan on staying within the budget. I don't see us going over. Everything seems to be going okay for now. As far as administration costs and for our boxing coach and then any other operation costs, everything should be under budget or within the budget.
And the question would come, how are what is the demand right now? I mean, you're calling the past participants and asking them to return, and what's the volume? What are we looking at? I mean, if we're granting something, we want to make sure there is going to be a good usage for it, and there would be participants coming and really benefiting from it versus, this program would sit there and so.
Madam Chair, I understand. As I said, the YMCA has about 13 people who have signed up. They're not all there. I haven't seen them all there at one time. For instance, last night we had, I believe, 8 there participating. And as I said, I was glad to see those 5 young men walk out with applications. Hopefully they'll come back. But to answer your question, we've gone back through our files of previous participants, those who were involved last year when the program was with the police department over here. And we've contacted them, and that same officer that does the visiting is doing the contacting. And he's got 5 to 8 who have said, oh, you are? Well, you're doing it again? Okay, we'll come check it out. I wish I could tell you I'll have 25 in no time, but the one thing that we are looking to do, and in fact the YMCA has prepared flyers, is to bring those out to the junior high and high school students to increase some participation that way. And now that we've got some real estate mapped out for the ring and so forth, and a regular room for this training to take place, I think we will. I think we'll see it pick up. I go over there and meet these kids who are taking part in the boxing program. How do you like it? We love it. And that's the response. So I think there will be more participation as we're ready to take on more.
And also just the physical exposure, right? You're going to be in a much more visible place as opposed to, with all due respect, like the dungeon that
It was.
we were at before.
It was.
I mean, as long as the police participation is there, and because these kids do look up and they would like to have the relationship and learn, and as a role model, they would like to have the police department and the police officers involved hands-on in the program. So that's great.
I thoroughly agree. And we don't plan to be active for a year and then back away. It's still YMCA/police activities.
Perfect.
And so that is our goal. And that dungeon was my locker room for 18 years.
I know. That's why I said no disrespect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Glendale Police Department students training as role models. Star.
Good afternoon, ma'am, gentlemen. My name is Officer Blanca Aguila. I work, obviously, for the Glendale Police Department, and for approximately 1 year, I have been the director for the STAR program, which is students training as role models. This past year has definitely just been more of a learning process for me, and also being able to get acquainted with the children that we have, the students. As of right now, we have 16 students. Last year, we were successful enough to graduate a total of 4 students. Basically, just to give you an idea, we'd like to accept these kids at the age of 9, because we believe that at that age, they're still in elementary school. It's easy for us to expose them to different lesson plans that the police department can provide for them. We usually graduate them at the age of 14 or when they enter junior high. As of right now, basically how it works is we meet every Tuesday. I am there every Tuesday along with the community service coordinator, Norma Baez. She works for the Pacific Community Center. Our youth program manager is Maria Perez. She's also there every Tuesday. And we have a series of volunteers from the police department. There's one specific volunteer, Dorothy, who's been dedicated to this program for the last 15 years. That's how much she believes in this program. We meet every Tuesday, like I said, and we provide help for homework. We provide them a snack. We also provide them a hot meal around 5 o'clock. We all eat together. I like to do something that's called a high and low, because most of these kids, unfortunately, are either growing up in a single-parent family home. Some of them come home from school and their parents are not home yet from work. So we go around the room and do a high-low. What was your high for the day? What was your low for the day? And we all share, and I share my high, I share my low, along with the other volunteers that are there. And we do a lesson plan, and basically we try to show them teamwork. We try to expose lessons as bullying. We try, this last meeting, we had an officer, a detective from the Assault Bureau go in there and talk to them about, the dangers of sexting, which we know are definitely impacting our youth. That's just a brief rundown. Before you grill me with your questions, I know that there's so many errors regarding our budget form. I apologize beforehand. Like I said, this has been a process for me, a learning process. And a officer that was helping me with the program last year was actually in charge of the budget form. I was able to sit down, and I don't know how I did it because I'm not an accountant, try to figure out these numbers, and I turned in the response analysis to Moises, along with a revised copy of the budget form and the budget narrative, and I hope you're gentle with me.
Well, at least you have responded to all the weaknesses and questions, so that's good. Thank you. Mr. Organization,
Yeah, quick question. I'm sorry. I understand the discrepancy, but what are we asking for? Is it 25 or 15?
We're asking for a total of $25,904.
Okay.
Are we?
Are we?
Because the
what you
supplemental
have
response says 26,891.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
I was looking at a different copy. Yes, 26,891 when previously we had requested 15,787. That was an error. Like I said in my response, we were not including in there the supplies monies and the 10% of the community services coordinator.
I was about to wonder how you're going to fit all that in 15,000, because you had driving.
Exactly.
Okay, well, the project does meet the requirement for the CDBG. It is a frontline youth at risk project, and it's a great benefit to the city. As you know, we do have a 35% cut in our budget this year, so it's going to make it a little difficult for us to fund all the applicants with their requested amount, obviously. Having said all that, my question would be, where would this program be? Is it going to be at the police department itself, or?
We meet at 501 South Pacific, which is Pacific Community Center. Okay. It's joint next to Edison, and also there's a library there. So for the years past that the program existed, we were kind of nomads, just roving the area, trying to see where room was available. Unfortunately, we were able to partner up with parks, and now we have our own room, so the kids are able to put up pictures during the holidays. We're able to decorate the room, and we're also able to use the kitchen, which is where we cook the hot meals for the kids. So we do have a stationary place that we meet at.
Final question.
Sure.
Officer Aguilar, being in the position that you are and having the job that you do, your integrity is extremely valuable to us. Your response to this would be very valuable to me personally. From your personal experience, because you're the one running the program, what do you think? Is it helping these children, what you're doing? Is the money going to actually go to a good cause? What do you honestly believe? It helps one child go from poverty to actually, from a life of crime to actually a life of success. It's worth every penny. What do you think is actually, what is your response to that? What do you think?
I could definitely answer that question. I myself am a product of the city of Glendale. I grew up in the south side of Glendale, and I was participating in the Cops for Kids program. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that a lot of the interaction that these kids have with the police department, if it weren't for us, it would become a negative one, meaning that they already reside in a very gang-infested area, very low income. Like I said, most of them come from single-parent family homes. The interaction that they get with us on a weekly basis, I would love to be able to spend more time with them. Those few hours that they get with us make a big difference. Just to give you an example, last week after our meeting, after meeting with the kids and talking to them about the importance of being responsible at home, being responsible adults, one of the kids I dropped off, and he called me an hour later telling me that his dad had just been arrested for domestic violence. So I think that if that kid didn't have the support that we offer through this program, he wouldn't understand that the police is actually, in fact, there to help him and not to, be a downfall to their family. I also, just to give more information about the program, is the officers that help me, we believe in this program. Last year, we were allocated $16,221. Most of that covered only our youth program manager, which left us with about $1,200 to be able to feed these kids, to be able to take these kids to outings. So what were we forced to do? A lot of us paid from our own pocket. Because it's very sad to see that these kids, some of them have never been to the movies, some of them have never been to a museum. So we work very hard to be able to have these kids have a normal childhood and have some experience. So I urge you from the bottom of my heart to at least just help us out with a little bit more for our operations. We're not asking for much. It would just be so much more helpful for me and the other officers to be able to know that we have money to be able to feed these kids every Tuesday.
Thank you.
And I'm going to sort of continue on what you were speaking about and what the previous question was. I'm a little troubled because if I understood you correctly, you basically made up $3,000 out of your own pockets last year. This year, that amount may be much higher than $3,000 because you're asking $10,000 more than that was allocated to you for the current fiscal year. And we have 35% less in our general budget. We have something like $450, I think less, a little less than that, $1,000 that we're working with. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, $240 some $1,000 we're working with, and we have $1 million in requests, just to paint how ugly the picture is. What are you going to do? I mean, if we don't come up with 100% of what you're asking for, which, frankly, I'm just thinking personally, I see, I have difficulty foreseeing that happening. How are you going to, you're not going to put up out of your pocket all that money again, are you?
We are prepared to work. What we've been doing the last few months is basically visiting restaurants like Panda Express, Baja Fresh, asking them to, give us 10% of whatever they make from one time to another. All the people have to do is turn in the receipts. Our main volunteer, Dorothy Grabelski, she's part of a Realtors Association. She goes there and she basically shows them the pictures of these kids, shows them everything that we do for them, and people, donate. Like I said, we believe in the program. We're prepared to work. I would just like you to keep in mind that this is not my primary function. I do this because I love these kids, and sometimes I think it's necessary for us to show how important a program is. If that means me paying for an outing, which is $120 out of pocket, I know that tomorrow I will see that in these kids because they're going to be going to college and I'm not going to be arresting them and putting them in jail. That's a big difference to me.
And you know what? I don't want you walking away from here without feeling appreciated in any way. You, Officer Gilkerson, wonderful job. Yes, I think society will be repaid because of your efforts. And again, thank you. Thank you. I wish more civil servants were as involved as you are. It's a wonderful thing. That's it.
Great program. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Two.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I think we missed one
Officer, I just
one
wanted...
commissioner. I'm sorry, Mr. Cornell.
Yes.
Yeah, John.
Did I demote you by saying officer, John? No? Sorry,
okay.
Sergeant Gilkerson. Sorry about that.
Officer, well, I hear in your testimony, hearing the difficult job you have under the circumstances have to reach in your pocket. I could see from your testimony here before us, not only do you love the kids, but it comes from here, the heart. And I have to commend the sergeant for getting the right person in the proper place to supervise these kids and have jurisdiction in your case. And I might add also that you had a very good predecessor that this was handed down to. And I have the pleasure of working with her in the East Commander at number 4 in the Homeowners Association, and that's your fellow officer, Sue Shine.
Yes.
And can't say enough about her and the extraordinary work that she's done as your predecessor in this regard. So I see the commitment. We'll do what we can. We want you to know that, and we appreciate your commitment coming from the heart and what you're doing for our future leaders here in our city.
Thank you, Mr. Cornell. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, officer.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take a moment and do the evaluation form if you haven't
Okay.
done. And we can go to the next applicant.
Okay, next we have Armenian Relief Society of Western USA, Inc. for Community Outreach Project.
Good afternoon. My name is Sona Zinzalian from Armenian Relief Society Social Services. The purpose of the project is to work towards improving the standard of living and meeting the societal needs within the community. The Armenian Relief Society Social Service is particularly interested in assisting new immigrants, refugees, asylees to acculturate and adjust to the life in U.S. and achieve self-sufficiency by teaching them safety net services during life skill English as a second language classes for seniors, 140, providing counseling for 50, and assisting them with finding employment for 50. Next to this 3 components, these are unduplicated clients. We serve variety of social services for 1,200 clients that they work in our office. Our office is a one-stop center equipped linguistically and culturally to serve all these clients. They come and ask for need. And we have a multilingual staff who help all these clients during the year. The project, it's a continuation of the past year's social service program. And City of Glendale is very lucky because our headquarters is in City of Glendale. We do a lot of freebies for the city and the community in need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia. And we are all familiar with your work and your passion for the community, and through your organization, it's very clear that you are going above and beyond for every client that comes through your doors. And your facility is always full. I've been there many times, and I can tell that these people are there because you help, and that's why they're coming back every time. You're asking for a large number, and there is a big cut this year. So that is going to put a lot of pressure on us to allocate the amounts. But definitely the program is meeting the priorities of employment, senior services, and everything that is frontline and everything that is much necessary for the community. So we applaud you for doing a wonderful job. You have the reputation of doing great in the community, so it's wonderful.
Because we serve underserved population that they have no other place to go to ask for help, because they're the newcomers, they have to live another life during their life, they come from former Soviet Union, they come from Middle East, they come from Iran, now from Iraq, and they need a place, to adjust, to be acculturated and to be guided to the right places.
Right, and as you said, one-stop shop, that's what it is.
Yes.
I mean, immigration, you have a question, just by hearing in the community, you solve a lot of questions and issues, and everyone just feels very confident coming to you. So
thank you very much.
Mr. Oganessian,
You know what? I had one. I don't have questions. I love what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing for the people, just humanity itself. But my question was, I thought we needed the money to fix some of the leakage, the problems we had when I walked through. Do you remember?
That's for the construction. We're going to come next week for that.
Okay.
That's different. I think they have applied for both social services and capital improvements.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was for.
Did we at least solve the problem? Because the bathrooms were leaking.
It's still leaking.
I have a quick question to staff.
Yes.
The first weakness that was indicated in the staff's comments, I'm not a numbers guy. I just wanted to ask, Moises, was that sufficiently addressed in the supplemental response?
Yes, all those, and they were very technical, minor issues with some rounding and some calculations. Those all been corrected, and those all match up.
That's all I have. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Cornell?
I've visited you many times also.
Mr. Cornell?
Hi, Zoe. I know your program well. Looking over here, in the past years, I see you have an excellent record as far as exceeding your goals and objectives. And I have nothing further except to continue the good work you're doing.
Thank you very much. And don't forget, it's one step. She does the social service and teaching, everything. Lena, she's the case manager by herself. She does all this. We don't have a teacher. She's the teacher. We don't have another case manager. She's the case manager. It's done with one person.
And the amount that you're requesting is to pay for the salary of...
Yeah, it's only for the one staff.
Okay, very good. Thank you very
You're
much.
very welcome. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, ladies.
We need it. Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next organization.
Okay, next we have Glendale Associated for the Retarded, the Multicultural Program and ESL classes. Sorry, there's a typo. It's a Glendale Association for the Retarded.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for inviting us to come here this afternoon to tell you a little bit about the multicultural program at GAR Services, otherwise known as the Glendale Association for the Retarded. My name is Sandy Dowdy. I'm the Executive Director, and Salpi will introduce herself in just a few minutes. I just want to give you a brief history of our organization. We were started in 1954. And we serve adults with developmental disabilities. And the grant that we are applying for is to underwrite the cost of the multicultural program, which serves 27 adults from the multicultural population. So I'm going to go ahead and let Salpi talk a little bit about the program. She oversees it, and if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them at the end.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Sandy already introduced us, the multicultural program started back in 1995 due to the growing need of the Armenian population within Glendale and the surrounding communities. And as you know, we serve developmentally disabled adults. And as the the number of clients who are non-English speaking increased within our organization, we saw the need to supplement offering them vocational skills with offering them classroom skills to develop their basic living skills, to promote independence, to offer ESL classes so that they can better assimilate within the community. So the classroom has expanded over the years, obviously, to where it serves now close to 30 students, which is over 40% of our population. And our multicultural instructor, who is not here today, I'm the counselor, a multicultural counselor. She basically works individually with with the students to teach them basic living skills, reading, writing, ESL, communication, obviously. Also cultural and community awareness and safety, and other other needs that they would have to promote independence, to promote easy transition within community employments as well.
Great. Thank you, Selfie. And Sandy.
Selfie mentioned that we have 30 clients. Currently, we have 27 in our program, and the reason that that has gone down is because 3 of the clients have graduated. They no longer need to be in that classroom setting. As a matter of fact, one of the clients in that program from the 30 just started taking a class at Glendale Community College, so she is now a student at GCC and is very proud. Last Wednesday was her first day of school. So we can proudly tell you that this program does work. Some clients take a little bit longer than others, but it's helped them become independent. This one client who is now attending Glendale College has learned English, and she translates for her family. She has learned how to manage her money. The other day I was asking her what she did with her paycheck, and she said she puts it in the bank. She likes to save her money. So it's wonderful to see these success stories happen throughout the years.
Wonderful. Thank you. I mean, I visited your facility a few weeks ago, and I was very impressed. The environment is very lovely, and I think everyone is enjoying themselves. They're all getting along. They were all working hard. These people, they were just enjoying, and it was great. And I met with the counselor, the Armenian counselor, and I think you're the only program that is offering this unique service to mentally disabled individuals. This is a multicultural, so
yes. We're the only program in the state of California that offers this.
Thank you. And I will start with Mr. Oganessian.
Sure, I'd be.
Seem ready to ask a question?
Well, I wasn't going to ask a question. There isn't really anything you can ask from what we saw. I was extremely proud and to live in a city that offers those services to our fellow human beings, to our fellow friends, and that may be challenged in life. Basically, what I'm trying to say is thank you for everything that you guys do. I know it must be extremely difficult. Your jobs must be 10 times more stressful and 10 times more hectic than ours because you have to repeat everything so many times. Besides, it takes a different kind of person, different kind of mental strength to do what you do. Thank you very much. And I'm extremely proud to live in a city that offers those kind of services for those very nice people that were doing an exceptional job at the work they were doing. From what I saw, I was extremely surprised.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sinania?
I wholeheartedly share the sentiment, and it's truly a sentiment in the literal sense of the word, which pains me to ask the next question. The amount of money that's being asked, the amount of money that we have available, what's happening with our budget, right?
Yes.
We have it's a 35% cut. It's not a 10% cut. Having said that, I see that you're requesting double of what you were requesting last year. And again, I'm like every cell in my body is just fighting against asking this question. But what are you going to do if we don't fund you at $40,000 level?
Well, and we know that we never have received the full amount that we've requested. We did request more for a couple of reasons. The multicultural instructor that CELPE supervises, her entire salary is paid with grant money. We also had some equipment that we had requested in the budget to purchase a new computer system for her. But we do realize that times are tough. 70% of my program is funded by the state of California, so I know about cuts in the budget. We do apply to other foundations for additional funding, and we will make up the difference. We have to work really hard to get that money, but we will do our best to make up the difference of whatever is not given to us by the CDBG.
Well, I love your attitude. I love it. No wonder you're doing such a great job, and you're going to continue doing it. And we're going to do our best to give you as much money as humanly, administratively, budgetarily possible under current circumstances. That's it from me.
Mr. Cornell?
Sandy, I share that shadow with my colleague here. We've seen your work through our on-site inspections that we make every year. We see your students. We see the motivation, the desire, and commitment that they have. And it's not yourself, but to you and your staff that makes a difference there. One thing I was alarmed at when I was going over the stats here and reading everything that you submitted was the yearly increase of development disabilities. You have indicated about 5% a year on this, is what I saw here. If I have a page here, I'd put the page number down. But so I take it from that your increase in your students has also increased to some degree from that of last year.
We are, right now, I believe, at 69 clients. Is that correct, Selby? Mm-hmm. And we continue to get referrals. All of our referrals for our clients come through the regional center system. And there is always a need. And, the regional center selects the clients that are most appropriate for our type of program. So, every couple of weeks, I believe, we get a phone call. We do. Asking if they can come and tour our facility. The family and their son or daughter can come and tour the facility. So we would be at capacity probably at about 73 clients, and that's based on the space that we have. If we had a larger building, we could take a lot more clients. But there is a need out there. We are not the only program in Southern California, but we are the only program that can assist anybody with multicultural needs, the only program in California. So as Selby mentioned, in 1995, when the need arose to have a program like this, it was created. We were not given any funding through the state, and so that's why since 1995, the multicultural instructor's salary has been paid fully with grant money. Mm-hmm. And we've been able to do that every year. So I know that you have a very difficult job and some big decisions to make, and we appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about our program. We appreciate you taking the time to come and visit, and we will appreciate whatever you can give us.
Well, we appreciate you and your staff taking the time, effort, and energy to come and give us your message as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A moment and fill out the... Okay, next organization, please.
Next, we have City of Glendale Community Services and Parks Senior Services Program.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee and staff. I'm Maggie Kavarian with the Community Services and Parks Department. I'm the Community Services Supervisor for the Senior Services Program. Wanted to let you know for the past 25 years, the Senior Services Program has been serving the low-income, elderly, and frail population in the greater Glendale community. Senior Services Program is housed at the Adult Recreation Center, which was just newly built in 2010. It is the hub of South Glendale, where our case managers provide frontline services to over 100 seniors per year. We provide many services to our seniors, including an in-home assessment, nutrition program, which includes hot meal on site at the Adult Recreation Center, at Pacific Park Community Center, and at Spar Heights Community Center. We offer home-bound seniors meals throughout Glendale and La Crescenta. We assist with housing, transportation needs, bus tokens, taxi vouchers for doctor's visits, caregiver support, utility assistance, legal assistance, senior peer counseling, and our telephone reassurance program, which allows seniors a well-being checkup every week. This year we had our annual Thanksgiving food drive, our Santa to a Senior program. Basically, this program offers a safety net to low-income, frail seniors that need assistance. And we do not provide outreach because they come to us. We've never had to. We've had the 3 local area hospital discharge planners call us. Glendale Water and Power calls us for utility bill issues with seniors. Landlords, tenants, you name it, they get to us. They find us because they know we can help the seniors have their needs met. Sometimes it's just one issue away from being either homeless or shut-off notices come for seniors. I provided you with pictures because I really wanted you to see all the great things that we provide. I wanted you to see a positive things that we provide to seniors. Case managers assisting clients, home-delivered meals driver assisting a client at home, helping take out trash. They do everything for them. And basically, what's unique about our program is we provide social services along with a nutritional meals program. And most people don't know this, but we only ask for a $2.50 donation per meal. No senior is ever turned away for non-payment. And we're only one agency that has, we provide 7 days a week. We provide a meal to seniors 7 days a week throughout LA County. No other agency offers that. So seniors can get a hot meal any day of the week, 7 days a week. Basically, obviously, we know that there is an impact and funding is being cut, but what we are asking for are 2 program specialists, which are case managers, to provide 200 unduplicated seniors per year services, which includes case management, information, and referral. And I'll be more than happy to take questions if you have them.
Thank you. Mr. Cornell, we start with you.
I guess you want to start with the senior first here.
Yes.
It is what I do best.
I like your program. I know what you do. I've seen it firsthand, and it's remarkable of the output that you're able to handle with the reduced staff that you have here. When you mention the meals, 7 days a week and so on, I believe you ask when they come into the center there, is not a $250 charge that you ask for them there?
It's a donation.
Oh, it's a donation.
We don't turn anyone away.
So
donation.
If they have it, fine. If not, then
they're served.
Okay. My concern is the ones that are frail, can't get out of their house. That's what concerns me. And also, perhaps, if you can enlighten me here, on the number of maybe veterans that you have among the seniors that are in this category. And one other aspect I wanted to ask you, I know you work with the county aspect of the county aging.
Yes.
Do you get any funds from them as far as on the meals, or is that about it as far as the funding from the county?
We do. To answer your question on the veterans, we have currently in this fiscal year about 5 veterans in our program. LA County Area Agency on Aging provides us with a nutritional meals grant, but not a case management grant. And that nutritional meals grant is for the congregate meals program and partially for the home delivered meals program. But the City of Glendale has to match it with 15% cash match as well. Obviously, there's reductions with LA County as well. So we've had to struggle a bit. Your other question, sir, was?
Was it on the veterans end?
We have 5 veterans currently enrolled in our program this fiscal year.
Thank you, Mr. Cornell. Mr. Sinanian?
Thank you. I hate asking these questions to entities that obviously do important work, but have to ask. You mentioned something about individuals from La Crescenta also being serviced by this program. Is La Crescenta included within Glendale in terms of the CDBG program? When they do our, we're talking about the census, how they downgraded our funding based on census numbers being lower. Was La Crescenta taken into account when they counted how many people there are here?
Mr. Sinanian, there are certain parts of La Crescenta that are covered. There's parts that are unincorporated and there's incorporated parts.
But do we discriminate in terms of this program as to whether incorporated and non-incorporated? I mean, I don't see that being the case.
I don't think that's the case. I think the vast majority are certainly here in Glendale and especially in South Glendale.
Okay.
There's a very minor amount, and that's because the project is also matched with other funds, so there's opportunity to go outside. And of course, the seniors are qualified as low income anyways, because they're presumed to be low income.
I'm saying we're not running afoul of the CDBG program's requirement that people being served be from Glendale.
No.
Okay.
It is a popular center.
It is.
And
it's a beautiful.
So it draws from. It draws from.
I remember the old one, and
I can't wait till I'm there.
Incredible. And another question, just need clarification. You said that you provide the meals 7 days a week. You said throughout the LA County, and we're the only one. We're the only one throughout the LA County?
Right. We're the only agency, I should have worded it correctly. We're the only agency in LA County that provides meals 7 days a week.
Great. Last year you requested nearly $60,000. We gave about 30% of that money, $20,000, almost $21,000. How did you make do?
We made do with fundraising. We made do with using and spending down our reserves in our general fund budget, and we just made it happen somehow. Unfortunately, this year it's going to be even harder.
So there was no decrease of the scope of the program, was there?
We had a waiting list. We had to triage, basically. Basically what we do is we triage. So when the seniors come in, those that can wait, there are waiting lists for at least 2 to 3 months, but we don't turn away clients who need assistance. For instance, if Glendale Adventist Hospital calls us and tells us someone is being discharged and they need XYZ issue, they have XYZ issues, we go to them first.
So if that were the case this year, you would do the same, because we keep saying this to everyone just to drive home the point. This year we have 35% less money. You're asking for more money this year, $7,000 more than you asked last year. So, I think the writing's on the wall, just so that we all know.
You do realize the baby boomers are retiring.
Yeah.
And your applicants are increasing. Probably your waiting list will
bombarded.
Yeah, it's
longer,
going to get bigger and bigger. And you're right. Our mental state should be that we should adopt this as an axiom that these numbers are increasing. Therefore, we should become more and more committed to allocating more funds to these kinds of projects.
Our biggest issue now, currently, just this next month, will be the closure of the adult day health care centers.
Yeah.
We've noticed a spike just from that alone.
Which health care center?
The adult day health care centers throughout California are closed.
And that is
March
finalized?
1st.
That's
March
finalized?
Because I know there was a lot of talk and it was on hold. So is that...
The latest news we received is March 1st. but they have pushed back from
They
December
had
to March
pushed back. It
1st.
was January 1st, and then
It's June 1st now, but overall the program's shutting down. There is a replacement program, though, which is not a true replacement. But anyway, we're segueing, we're going on to
right, and I'm sure it'll impact your program.
It
very-
already has, actually. It
Already
already
has.
has.
Yeah. Mr. Oganessian?
No, you know what? What do you ask in situations like this? But unfortunately, we are in a position we're in. Unfortunately, the way life works is we sometimes forget about the parents. Once we get to an age where we're at right now, we start thinking about our children, and we forget about our elders, where we come from. So I'm actually very happy to see somebody doing something. Unfortunately, the way life is, we're so busy with just trying to take care of ourselves, we tend to forget how to take care of our parents. So I'm glad to see somebody's doing it. Hopefully we can find it somehow, tweak the numbers a little bit here and there to try to help you out as much as possible. One quick question. You guys do like round-the-clock service? Is it like 24 hours a day?
If we check our Blackberries, yes, it is
Pretty
24
much,
hours
yes.
a day. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but honestly, we all work until the job is done.
Okay.
We all know you're doing a great job, and I was going over the project description, and I see that your focus is also on, well, very much so on frail seniors, and I think that's something very important that we need to keep in mind as they get, older and as they're aging. Those are a lot of risk factor comes in. And how do you identify? I mean, is it something amongst your members that you identify and you follow up with them, or is it different facilities? You kind of answered the question when you said the hospital calls us. But beside that, is there any other way to identify the frail population, the seniors, and how do you follow up? Home visits? What type of?
Basically, the way we identify them, like we said, mainly with referrals. Fire department, Glendale Police Department, dispatchers call us, hospitals call us, family members call us from out of state because they're concerned that, the aunt hasn't eaten or neighbor calls us. So those are the first thing we do is we go out to the home, assess the situation, and then we take it from there.
And regardless if they're your members or not, anyone in the community?
Any senior will be seen if there's an issue. If they're in crisis, we are there. And our case managers are trained. They have degrees in gerontology and social services and sociology, so they all know. They're very much aware. The red flags.
I just have one quick follow-up, Maggie.
Sure.
On the frail citizens that are homebound, your Meals on Wheels program, is that delivered by your personnel or by volunteers?
Our program, which is home delivered meals program, is delivered by City of Glendale employees. We have drivers that deliver those meals to them.
And how are you utilizing volunteers? Do you have volunteers working for the facility, inside the facility?
Yes, we do. We have volunteers that work at the Adult Recreation Center. Unfortunately, due to HIPAA laws, we can't have volunteers work with the seniors and with paperwork and administrative situations because they can't have access to that kind of information. It's very delicate.
Very good. Mr. Corral?
I guess one of the volunteers, speak of volunteers, I've seen is a number of volunteers that help with the daily meals because they're open 7 days a week. And the meals are a lot of times, and you'll get actually referrals from youth who go there and do some community service hours.
That
so
place
there's
is
a lot.
packed.
Yeah.
Thousands of hours.
Yeah. So there's actually, talk about volunteers, I see a lot there at the ARC.
Very good.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
And when you're ready, next we have City of Glendale Community Services and Parks Youth and Family Services Program.
Are you running ahead of schedule?
We are.
Good job.
Yes.
Yes, we're 10 minutes ahead.
Won't have any problem meeting your deadline, huh?
Thank you.
And everybody is getting enough clarification, and your questions are all being answered. And I think we all did our homeworks pretty good at home. We have a lot of notes here.
Especially Mr. Organist.
Yes. Yes, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Chair Markarian, committee members, and city staff, thank you for having us here today. I'm here to present a program for which we're requesting funding for, CDBG funding, and that is the Youth and Family Services Program. The Youth and Family Services Program is a city-sponsored program that's been in service in Glendale for 10 years at this point. It's over the 10 years, it's served an estimated 5,000 youth. What the program does, well, first of all, it serves youth between the ages of 14 through 17, and we also serve adults between the ages of 18 to 25, and this is young adults who are transitioning into adulthood, as well as young adults with children. So we try to kind of stabilize them as they go into the world of adulthood and trying to find resources for them at this point. Again, the program has been in operation for 10 years. Our main goal is to provide a network, a safety network for the youth as well as young adults, a safety net by linking them to resources in the community. We work specifically with youth who are placed on probation, at-risk, high-risk youth, and trying to find resources that could stabilize their situation. A lot of times the kids who come into our program are court-mandated youth who are required to comply with conditions of probation, or kids who are just referred to us either by self-referral, by the juvenile court, by Glendale Unified School District, and a lot of times the parents just come in needing services because they're feeling overwhelmed with their youth. They don't know what direction and where to go for resources. So that's where we play a viable role in the community. They come to us, and our staff, after a thorough intake, assessment, needs assessment that they conduct, they sit down with the parents and develop what's called a case plan. And this is where we provide our case management services. And we provide case management services directly related to the youth's needs, specific needs, as well as the family's needs. Another component we do is information referrals. The general public just contacts us for services. They may need something as simple as housing services, or they may need low-cost attorney in the area or resources that they may need to access, and those are one-time referrals. Our staff conducts a lot of outreach. There's members of the Student Attendance Review Board. They go out to the Pasadena Juvenile Court. They actually sit in chambers, and so we work directly with the judges and the attorneys at the Pasadena Juvenile Courthouse, as well as outreach within our parks. We have that luxury to be able to have access to a lot of our community events. So our staff is notified of those events, and so we go out there and try to outreach to those youth. Just to say what we do, we provide tools to address current and social issues in the lives of these youth, provide guidance in decision making. We establish commitment to education, personal development, and improve social skills, as well as enable youth to retain their dignity, reinforce their self-esteem and self-sufficiency. A lot of times the youth become disengaged, and that's what we find. They disengage from family, they disengage from school, and they disengage from community. And that's where we play a role again. We come in and try to find resources that could engage them back into these three units and these three components, because that's what we discovered. A lot of kids they go back to court. They're mandated to comply with orders, services. Some of the services that we refer to are anger management counseling, DV counseling, parenting education, drug diversion programs, testing and whatnot. So those are some of the services we link to. And we're very successful at doing that. Over the year, we served, so far up to date, we've served an estimated 60 youth. We've provided a total of 103 referrals to date. Of those referrals, 77 have been successfully utilized, meaning 75% are successfully utilized by the parents to meet their individual needs. And we provided case management to 15 youth up to date. And this is as of yesterday. I've looked at our files and have made to date counts. Our strongest collaboratives, again, are Pasadena Juvenile Court, Glendale, the LA County Probation Department, we have the luxury to actually have probation officers at our school sites, so it makes it very easy for us to have those lines of communication open with our probation officers and dealing with the needs of the youth. And the other one, again, is our Glendale Unified School District, as well as our police department. Police department goes out on calls. They're not criminal in nature. Sometimes parents just call saying, I don't know what to do with Johnny anymore. I've had it up to my wit's end. And so we go do roll calls with Glendale PD, and we provide them our resources on our brochures. So they have those, and a lot of them have those brochures in their units, and they'll provide them to the parents to contact us. And I think that's in a nutshell. And again, we are the gateway. That's how we define ourselves. We're the gateway to link the families to resources in the community. They don't know, for whatever reason, they're not informed of the services. And so our goal ultimately is just to provide improved quality of life for the youth and provide a safety net for them. Once we're done, we hope that they've taken the tools that we provided them and empower them to access their resources, because we do have resources. It's just a matter of where do we find them. We become kind of the clearinghouse for the parents to link to those resources. And in a nutshell, I hope that covers what we do.
Yes, you covered everything that, it's wonderful. The service is great to the community. We visited your facility, and again, you explained, and it's very clear. It's a great, vital service, and it's a front line, and I think we all agree that this is something that CDBG has a priority for. I mean, the funding is available for this type of priority services in our community. And with all of that, I will start with Mr. Sinanian.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, I was hoping not to be the guy to ask this question, but I'm going to be the broken record and point out the obvious.
Sure.
This year you're asking for more than $3,000 more than you were asking last year. We have 35% less funding this year from the HUD. You know all that.
Yes, I am aware.
So that you know. And last year we approved about $15,000, a little more than $15,000. Chances are very high that you're not going to get full funding.
Okay.
Put it mildly, I think I'm predicting this at this point. But how did you do last year? How'd you manage? Are you going to be able to do the same thing, whatever it is that you did when I say last year, sure. I mean the current ongoing year. Are you going to be able to duplicate that this year?
Sure. The reality is with minimal funding, we do service level to some degree. We kind of put kids on a waiting list, or we make quick referrals. A lot of times we don't have that luxury to sit one-on-one with these youth and work with a more intensive case management. So it is something we are aware of, and it's something we just kind of move through the process with getting the kids linked to services more efficiently. Again, it does fund a position, so what that means is just hour reduction for the staff who is on board with us. And that's what we had to do last year. We did suffer a bit with having that ability of having that staff there full-time versus part-time. Part of the work, full-time position, full-time work, part-time means part-time work for us, and we manage.
Did community services, Parks and Rec kick in and help out with additional funding? Or
unfortunately, we did get impacted. Our budget did get reduced this past year, and we still have a vacancy that hasn't been hired, and we continue to kind of just brace and move forward. We don't just sit back and say, well, we move forward. It hasn't been able to kick in, and it is funded. It funds that position specifically.
All right. So I guess now we're putting kids on waiting lists. Funding.
It's
unfortunate, but it is what it is. What I was wondering is we're only covering 16% of your total budget, and the rest is covered by the city itself. Is that correct?
Correct.
Why can't we get the city to fund everything? It's only 16% less.
And that's going to be a big point to make during our deliberation, as every year.
Mr. Duran, do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, it's only 16% here.
It is a question from worth listening the answer.
Yes, Madam Mayor, committee members, all I can tell you is that Unfortunately, our human services programs, such as the Youth and Family Services Program and the senior programs that you heard about earlier, were also cut from the city budget, from the general fund budget. So they were able to use the CDBG funds to make up for some of that loss. But unfortunately, just like everybody else, human services are easy targets when it comes to budget cuts. So it's a very dire situation.
Thank you. Mr. Cornell?
Yeah, hi, Mr. Alvarez. Nice to have you back.
Thank you, Mr. Cornell.
Since you get a lot of referrals from, I guess it's the children's court there in Pasadena, and do you get referrals from that court for ones that don't reside in Glendale, or say that it might be in Pasadena or somewhere else, or just the ones that reside in Glendale here?
It's Glendale specific.
Okay.
Glendale specific cases, and those are the ones we serve. Sometimes we do have to refer them out to neighboring cities for services, depending on the need. But majority of it is just Glendale-based referrals.
That's a county program, isn't it? As far as the children's end of it, do you get any kind of reimbursement from the county for your handling of the cases?
Mr. Cornell, no, we don't receive any funding from them. Again, we just work collaboratively with the probation department. What it is I truly believe that the city has embraced this to address their issues at a more micro level instead of a county-wide level. And I think that's the luxury we do have, and we're able to be more effective in working with our own youth and our own community versus depending on a county-wide system to address the need of our specific community. And it really works. The probation officers really utilize us as a resource to be able to link these kids.
Thank you. Okay, my question. I see that the funding you're requesting is to pay a salary and benefit for one full-time program specialist. Is this for the position that's currently vacant, or is it for the current specialist?
It's the current specialist that we have funded through CDBG. We have a CDBG funding position.
Right, and you said that there is a position that's vacant, but because of the budget cuts and because of the amount of, funds you have available, you cannot fill the position, correct? Okay,
right.
So on top of that, there's another cost.
There is another cost there, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I got to follow up on that.
Yes.
When you say it's a position that's been funded through CDBG, are we talking about pre-designated CDBG funds by the city, or our designated monies from previous years? Okay, all right.
G committee.
Answered that question.
Yeah, so it is, what percentage of the salary would that be? We're looking
16,
at 16.
I believe it's 16%.
Okay. Any questions?
I have a question for Mr. Carrillo or Mr. Duran. When Mr. Duran said that the city has cut CDBG funding, did they cut it completely? Did they eliminate the funding for these types of programs, or did they cut it down, cut it shorter, or cut it less? So we're diminish it.
Cut it less.
Okay, all right, got it.
They are receiving less money in general funds for youth and family services and for senior services from what they had a year ago, because we also had to make cuts.
Okay, thank you.
And you had another lady working with you. When we visited, there was a lady. Is she still there, or that is her position that is vacant now?
The other young lady,
forgot her name.
unfortunately, Brenda, I believe was her name.
Brenda, yes.
Yes, unfortunately, she got impacted with the layoffs this past round, and we weren't able to bring her back.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're doing a great job in the community, and it's much-needed service for
Thank
our
you.
youth, so.
If I could have the opportunity just to make one last point,
Sure.
my concern is that this is a vital program because we are going to be with the realignment of the county jails. I think we're going to see higher crime rates or those inmates being released in the community, and a lot of times those young adults are influences to our younger population. So I really see how we need to be more proactive within our own programs to outreach to these kids before some of these inmates who are being released into the community get a hold of them and influencing them in negative behavior. So I I just hope that we could do more for these youth.
Thank you. We are going to try our best.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's do the evaluation, and then maybe we can take a break. Iris, I think we're ahead of schedule, so if we can take a 10 minutes break and come back, and maybe reconvene at 2:45.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
for your
that
sake.
would be great.
Okay. all
I
right.
need some water. And everyone, yes. And I think they're not here. I see,
She's one person.
I see one person.
You're the one who has.
And I think they are probably coming in a group, as I noticed.
Okay.
The packet. So I
So
think
then we'll
as
be
they're
back in
waiting,
10 minutes.
we will take 10 minutes.
They're not the last clients, right?
They are going to be the last.
What happened to ARC?
There's two more.
Let me see.
ARC.
They're not here, so, but they're 2:45. Yeah, I think that's just one that's not
Last
here
two, I
yet.
believe. ARC and Glendale.
45.
So we
Okay, so we're in
Let's
recess.
take 10 minutes recess. Thank you.